He has earned the distinction accredited in public relations. He has received more than 100 industry awards, including a PRSA Bronze, for architecting a demand creation program that resulted in a $13 million increase in sales. He was inducted into the National PRSSA Hall of Fame in 2010, named the 2013 Technology PR Professional of the Year by the Public Relations Society of America, a member of the Technology Association of Georgia's Board of Directors and the Metro Chamber Board of Advisors. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, March 18, 2014, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. How has high-tech marketing changed the technology ecosystem in Atlanta, the nation, and the world? What are the hot trends in today's lead generation's marketplace? And just what are the major players seeking from PR and digital marketing firms? It's a unique look at a decade of historic change and outstanding professional as well as community performance in an entire industry and with a range of clients from startup to national brand. In this edition, Tino Tech Talks with Mike Neumeier of the Arketi Group. Mike has nearly 20 years of proven experience in public relations, digital marketing, and communications, and is recognized as an industry-leading specialist in consulting a broad range of clients on the best means to effectively convey business messages to both market and media influencers. He has built an enviable record of creating and delivering plans that have simply resulted in building the bottom line. Up to the Tech Talk, it's all about what you need to know about PR and digital marketing as Tino speaks with one of the technology's industry's top PR leaders as we meet Arketi Group and Atlanta's own Mike Neumeier. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions.
Hey, Mike, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Tino.
So we've been working together a long time, and I know quite a bit about Arketi, and I think most of our listeners do. But for those that are uninformed, share a little bit about Arketi and let's say how it fits into our ecosystem, technology ecosystem.
Definitely. Well, Arketi is an integrated PR and digital marketing firm. We've been around actually for a little bit more than 10 years now, and headquartered here in Atlanta, and our sweet spot is really business-to-business technology companies. And we like to work with tech companies that have as their major drivers a desire to generate revenue and accelerate their growth. And there are a couple ways we do that through strategic messaging, strategy, PR work, interactive marketing, branding, and then lead nurturing and lead generation. So in a few seconds, that's what an Arketi's all about.
So you've 10 years, so you've seen a lot of changes over that time and new trends. So what would you say in terms of 10 years ago versus today? What are the hot trends you're watching from your clients?
Yeah, it's been a crazy roller coaster, and the founders of the company, of which I'm one, have been really working here in the Atlanta market for 20-plus years in our technology ecosystem, which we think is great because we have a robust community of consultants like ourselves and in other disciplines, legal, accounting, management, strategy, that really can come to bear and help our technology companies grow. And really, primarily Atlanta, no surprise to your listeners, has been a software and application town. And to a large extent over the last 20 years, more business-to-business focused than B2C focus. We have seen that changing a little bit. Mobility is very hot. Applications apps are very hot. Mobile apps, of course, are very hot. But still, we see a lot of play on the B2B side. A great example of that are, our friends over at Pardot that made a great exit last year. And the many companies that have sprung off them that have that B2B focus, which enables them to be laser focused. And what that means for marketing, and specifically the high-tech marketing areas, is a few things have changed over the past decade plus. Number one, you can't, although vision and having a vision is great, selling a vision, especially during the .com days, tend to vaporize rather quickly.
Right.
So it's really, proof of concept, customers, happy customers, beta sites, that type of things sell extremely well, especially with the media. That have become somewhat jaded and don't buy the vision anymore for fear of vapor. And then on the media relations side, just continuing there in that marketing bucket, it's not like the old days where it was all about who are your media contacts and who do you know and who do you smoke a cigar with or drink scotch
right.
with, because the turnover in the media these days is so much that it's really more about how can you craft a compelling story, and know the media outlet and the media consumption desires in a way that's going to attract attention. Content is so important for high-tech companies today. Content really matters. Thought leadership really matters. And customer success stories, even though they can be hard to get sometimes, are the types of things that we've seen huge uptick in.
So if you're looking, just to dig a little deeper into that, so 5 years ago, let's say, if a company were to call you, what might they ask for in terms of a service versus what they'll ask for now? And I'm thinking you started to mention mobility or more digital or social media versus,
sure.
I don't know, more hard copy kinds of things. I mean, how's that changed?
Yes, yes, and yes to all three of those hot topics. I would probably say the one business I wouldn't want to be in would be the print business. Wouldn't want to own a lot of printing presses. Even the printing we do today is all digital printing and not the big offset presses, really. Folks just don't print as much sales material. So whereas 10, maybe even 5 years ago, a greater effort was being put toward having a really effective suite of collateral, now the suite of collateral is driven by how electronic is it. Everyone, give me that PDF
right.
type of thing, which feeds right into kind of the second area, which is marketing automation. And we started investing as an agency in marketing automation about 4 years ago, almost 5 now, and really preaching it quite heavily to our B2B clients. And I tell you, it took a good 2.5 years for folks to really understand the power of a true marketing automation system. And now that's near table stakes, not quite yet. We still have a lot of clients that have bought marketing automation systems, some very expensive ones, and sadly have just used them as, big email engines, and
right.
and that's not efficient. But having a system that sits primarily on your website, although it can operate outside of that arena, and helps you attract and then nurture buyers through the system by offering up different types of content based on what they've been consuming from you, is really a interesting and cool technology.
Well, it's a good segue into the next question, which is around startups. And I know that Arketi does a lot of work with startups, groups like MindSpring, SpringBot, Digital Ascent. And what are, looking at it from a standpoint of what do they do right, and maybe where are some of the mistakes made?
Yeah, that was reaching back in the old days with working with MindSpring way back in the day, and we do and have worked with a number of startups. Although, truth be told, we work with fewer startups these days, just because the evolution of our own own firm, but that community is so important to our technology community here. A couple things for startups really to think about, and one is messaging. Messaging isn't a trivial exercise, and positioning of your organization. So that's something that you definitely want to make sure you spend some time on. Really, how are you trying to differentiate yourself from the competition? What are the attributes that buyers are looking for? What are the benefits that you have that your organization doesn't have? We say all the time that messaging that resonates around the boardroom table is nice. It's nice that you like your own messaging, and that is important. But messaging that resonates with someone that's actually going to give you a check and pay for your product is better.
A little important piece.
Yeah. You really have to make sure and that it's hitting chords with buyers out there. And sometimes startups fall in love with their own messaging, and it can be too convoluted or something that really doesn't resonate with the marketplace, and that's a huge disconnect.
Time for one more final question, and let's go more macro with this question. Just say you've been in the area 20 years or more. When we get to that number, then we start saying 20 years. We don't like to say more
there
than
you
that.
Go. Yeah, no. Uh-huh.
So, what, from a standpoint of Atlanta and the broader metropolitan Atlanta technology market, we getting stronger? What's going on?
I think we're definitely getting stronger. I mean, we've had discussions over the years, Tino, for sure, about this. I mean, we definitely we're never going to compete with some of the big bellwethers in venture funding. It's just never going to happen, and we maybe have to stop benchmarking ourselves against them in that area. But as far as the ideas coming out of here, the strong technology clusters and communities we have, the health IT, the fintech, the logistics, the security, the data center, telecom, mobility, those are strong areas. Those are growing areas. They are fundamental, I think, to the economic development of the United States and beyond. They're not going away. So although they might not always be seen by some folks as the sexiest, they're definitely have staying power. And that's what we see in some of our major huge players in those clusters, and then you get lots of growing excitement around them with the startup organization. So I think we've got the technology chops. I talked earlier about the support system. We definitely have the support system here throughout the state of Georgia with professional service firms like Arketi that have the knowledge to come in and help those organizations grow and propel their success. We've got the academic base with the strong university system we have, and we have to think beyond Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is great, and we get great talent out of them, but the entire Georgia academic system of higher education is strong. University of Georgia, although as a Gator it pains me to say that, has got a strong program. Kennesaw is strong. Mercer University, Emory, Georgia State University. We've got strong academics. We need to keep those kids here when they graduate to make sure they don't go away. And what I like to tease you about all the time is the fact that, according to a recent survey, we aren't even in the top 10, believe it or not, of the worst metropolitan areas with the worst traffic. I think we're sitting at number 21, and, we've got San Jose up in the top 10, San Francisco in the top 10, Austin in the top 10, Boston in the top 10, New York in the top 10. So maybe finally we can say that our traffic is slightly less worse than some of our technology colleagues out there.
I can see a marketing campaign around that. If you want bad traffic, go to San Jose, Atlanta.
Definitely,
place to
definitely.
stay. There you go.
And I think, and not to be overlooked, we've got a really pro-female executive environment here in Atlanta, and it's weird to say in this day and age that that should matter, but I have seen in other it popping up in the press that other areas don't really have that. I mean, we have some really strong female executives in the tech community that have done amazing things, and with organizations like WIT here in town that have fostered that idea. You know, I don't think that as a technology community we see gender as a difference, and I think that's a huge plus because, you know.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining me on Tech Talk today, and all the work that Arketi's done over the years on behalf of the technology community, and specifically for supporting the work of TAG, which has been extremely helpful and helped us to grow and meet our vision and direction. So thanks again for joining me on Tech Talk.
We are glad to do it. We are, take the lead from many other companies here in Atlanta that believe in giving back in terms of their times and talents and resources to the industries and associations that they're involved in. And that's how we view TAG and the technology community here. We've seen it thrive over the past 10, 20 years, and we want to keep seeing it grow into the future. We think there's a huge potential for not just the metro Atlanta area, but all of Georgia. And TAG has really stepped up over the past 10 years, kind of in conjunction, hopefully as we've grown, and taken up that mantle and made it really matter, made technology really matter here in the state.
Well, thanks for being part of Tech Talk, and I'm sure we'll have you on again sometime soon.
Thank you, Tino.